There's been an accident clearing in El Monte on the 10 west past the 605. In the left lane, a backup to Azusa on the 10 westbound. We have trouble in the Burbank area, 5 Golden State Freeway southbound past Alameda. 5-car wreck. I guess the 3 right lanes are blocked now. The backup to Sunland on the 5 freeway southbound. It just gets worse and worse. 5 freeway southbound slow all the way through Burbank, so try San Fernando Road instead. Even the 5 freeway northbound is backed up to the Ventura Freeway. The Ventura Freeway westbound still a struggle now from the Hollywood Freeway over to Reseda Boulevard, where earlier there was an accident. Ventura eastbound is still heavy from Tampa over toward the 405. On the 405 freeway northbound before La Tijera near LAX, 2 right lanes have been plugged up with a crash. It's 405 northbound before La Tijera. Why don't we check in right now with Mike Baez? He's flying over the 605 freeway in Air 2.
Thank you, Judy. As you leave Orange County this morning, 605 freeway northbound, not too bad coming up from the 405 freeway. Notice a little bit of reduced speed and crowding, not too much. It's beginning to dissipate now. Starting right by Carson as you make your way up to Dilemma. Overall, not too bad of a drive past the 91 as you make your way through.
Did you order Alexei Navalny's assassination?
Конечно, нет.
Of course not. We don't have this kind of habit of assassinating anybody. That's one. Number 2 is, I want to ask you, did you order the assassination of the woman who walked into the Congress and who was shot and killed by a policeman? Do you know that 450 individuals were arrested after entering the Congress, and they didn't go there to steal a laptop. They came with political demands. 450 people have been detained.
You're talking about a capital.
They're looking at jail time between 15 and 25 years. And they came to the Congress with political demands. Isn't that persecution for political opinions? Some have been accused of plotting to take over government power. Some are accused of robbery. They didn't go there to rob. The people, the individuals whom you mentioned, yes, they were convicted for violating their status of individuals who had been previously convicted and given suspended sentences. Twice an individual was given suspended sentences. Essentially, it was a warning not to violate the Russian laws. And he completely ignored the requirements of the law. The court went on and turned the conviction into real jail time. Thousands and thousands of people ignore requirements of the law, and they had nothing to do with political activities in Russia every year, and they go to jail. If somebody is actually using political activities as a shield to deal with their own issues, including to achieve their commercial goals, then it's something that they have to be held responsible for.
So definitely, and so much appropriate concern about January 6th, what happened that day. Unfortunately, we don't know all that happened that day. There are some major questions that need to be answered. We know that the former chief of the Capitol Police testified that they got no intelligence from the FBI about potential violence on January 6th. And, you know, there were lots of stories about people that were here at the Capitol on January 6th that may have carried a Confederate flag, may have had red and MAGA or Trump, but the Capitol Police had told me the day before, hey, we've heard there's going to be people that hate Trump that are going to be trying to blend in, and there is going to be violence, and we're concerned about it. But the chief of Capitol Police said they got no intel like that from the FBI. An article a few days ago from Revolver says unindicted co-conspirators in the January 6th cases raised disturbing questions of federal foreknowledge. It was June 14th. And I saw my friend Tucker Carlson cover this last night. But this is really disturbing, and this is something that I know from my time here in Congress has disturbed Democrats and Republicans alike across the aisle, because we don't like to see government agents stirring up trouble or find that there are criminal acts that would not likely have occurred had not the federal government been participating.
Do not be intimidated by our opponent's angry and menacing tone, because if we were, we would never have been able to accomplish what we've accomplished. In truth, they are actually terrified of you, the people. They're terrified. They're terrified that you will discover that you have the power to end their corrupt rule once and for all. We have to do it. When you see what's going on, we have to do it. We don't have a choice. Somebody said, do you enjoy this? I said, it's not a question of enjoyment. Believe it or not, I do. I shouldn't. Have to go check something, but I should.
Is going to look at how white nationalism might exist within Capitol Police as part of a thorough investigation. Because as we experienced Wednesday's horrible events, my first question was, how the hell were they able to penetrate the Capitol? Why were Capitol Police so undermanned and overwhelmed so quickly? Why wasn't there more coordination between Capitol Police, Department of Homeland Security, and the FBI in preparation for this event? So many unanswered questions, and that's why we need a thorough investigation. And as we've seen on the media, some of the Capitol Police let the rioters into the Capitol. And as we've seen on the media, some of the Capitol Police let the rioters into the Capitol.
And as we've seen on the media, some of the Capitol Police let the rioters into the Capitol. And as we've seen on the media, some of the Capitol Police let the rioters into the Capitol.
So, yes, Donald Trump needs to be removed immediately.
Shame them. In China, it's even mandatory to pass a facial recognition test to register for a mobile phone. The Chinese Ministry of Industry and Information Technology made it mandatory in 2019. In another case, authorities even require a facial scan for toilet paper in a public restroom in Beijing. According to a BBC report, after scanning your face in the bathroom, toilet paper machines will dispense about an arm's length of toilet paper. To get more paper, you'll have to wait 9 minutes and scan your face again. Hui Jian also tells us that Chinese people never experienced real freedom.
I read an interview one time. There was a quote that I found particularly profound, which was that Chinese people have never enjoyed real freedom, and they simply don't know how valuable it is. I grew up in that society. I think it's really like that.
Hui Jian.
Well, I'm not in a position to determine what the government can do in a forceful way.
I'm just asking, you just said if the protests increase the spread. I'm just asking, should we try to limit the protests?
I think
Government stopping people from going to church, Dr. Fauci.
Yeah.
Last week in the Calvary Chapel case, 5 liberals on the Supreme Court said it was okay for Nevada to limit church services. Justice Gorsuch said it best. He said there's no world in which the Constitution permits Nevada to favor Caesar's Palace over Calvary Chapel. I'm just asking, is there a world where the Constitution said you can favor one First Amendment liberty, protesting, over another, practicing your faith?
And without the adequate rules by which people will be required to behave, and
without the adequate rules by which people will be required to behave, and
everybody in America, I think, is beginning to come to understand that this president is not leading now. He's playing out an election strategy. He's more focused on getting the economy moving before all the experts say you ought to be putting people back together in close quarters again. And without the adequate rules by which people will be required to behave, and certainly without the adequate testing that other countries are doing. I think Mike Barnacle a moment ago listed countries, almost 20 countries or more. I mean, most of the countries dealing with this crisis at a high level are doing better than the United States of America on testing.